Welcome to the Tea with TNT. I am T Douglas, half of the wonderful team. And
And
I'm
I
sure
am
you
Sarah.
are,
Oh,
I was
go
gonna say,
ahead.
I'm sure you probably already introduced yourself as long as y'all was
Several
waiting for me.
times. Right, several times.
But
But here
go
we go
ahead.
again.
Tell the people who
Why
you are.
not? In case people just showed up. Hi, I'm Sarah Lee, the editor of Blackout Magazine, and I am the other half of our show. If you have never been with us before, we have a podcast that airs on social media. So that we can get all your opinions and conversation. And then it will eventually make its way to Substack and to Apple Podcasts so the rest of the world can join in. I am just going to take a minute and make sure that we have shared our live
You
so
know,
that the folks can find us. So you go ahead and
sure I shared it already, but let me
chit chat with the people until then.
double back and make sure. I told them that we were live. It's been a long day already, and it's only
I
2
feel the
o'clock.
same way. I feel the same way. I was like, in my mind, I was like, this should be a nice, lazy, calm Sunday. And I feel like I've done 900 things today. I feel like it's been a very busy day for no good reason. So the rest of the day is about to be very chill. I'm determined. But starting right now, starting right now, we're going to have a nice chill day. I didn't even, I was
Okay.
gonna make pina coladas for to Sunday
Celebrate.
fun day it up. I was, and I got so caught up doing cleaning and fixing and emailing that I didn't even make my pina colada. So that'll have to be part two of my afternoon, I guess.
Right. Do you sing the song when you make them?
Oh yeah, of course you have
I'm
to.
just asking.
You
I'm just
have to.
asking. Because I
I,
don't
I'm,
really know the song, so I just keep singing If You Like Peter Coladas.
doesn't everybody do that?
I
The
mean,
only reason I even
I've met people who actually know the rest of the song.
oh
Not
I
me, though.
no
But
yeah no I only know it because it's in a movie, and so that's the only part they sing in the movie, and so that's the only part. Well, it's do you like pina coladas and something in the rain. I do know that part, but I don't know anything after that.
me neither. It's okay.
That's all I got. That's all I
We in
got.
the
That's all I
same
got.
we in the same boat.
So I'm about to sit on my feet because I am exceptionally short. Because every time I go to post these lives, I look afterwards and I'm like a floating head because my whole body's cut off. So I'm about to boost myself up because I am tiny.
I think this is as boosted as I can get.
You actually have a torso, so you clearly you are right. I'm usually like a disfigured head. So here we go. Okay, so thank you for joining us. Like I said, if you've never been a guest on our podcast, if you've never watched our podcast, we come and just talk about like what's in the news, what's going on, what's happening in the world. Blackout Magazine is an outlet, a media outlet that's specifically by and for Black, queer, and trans folks. And so a lot of times we talk about news that people don't know about. We put out information that people don't always have. And this is kind of our forum to be able to talk about the things that we talk about in the magazine and the stuff that we're talking about online and in the world. This month, we actually have a really special conversation to have because usually the news is outside of our little crew that we get to talk about. But this time we get to talk about some internal news that is really dope on brand new organization that has hit the scene. Uh, this week? Was that this week? God, it seems like so long ago
It
already.
is this week. We almost 1 week old tomorrow.
This week, and I am blessed and honored to have gotten to be a part of some of the launch of the new organization. And Blackout Magazine is the media partner, so we get to bring you information. There was a really dope feature on T in the magazine this month, where he's doing his 20 questions rundown to give us some more information about him and about the org. But we wanted to spend this time in this space with all of y'all to be able to like just talk about it and let T talk about his vision and the plan and what it is and what it's about in case you haven't catch any of the social media rollout or haven't stopped by the website. Um, once this goes into edits, the website will be right here. And y'all can check out more. But it's a great time for y'all to hear about it from the source. Um, and ask questions if you have them, because this is a brand new thing, so we want people to be able to hear about it and learn more and be a part of it. So with
And
that,
it,
without further ado,
without further
T
ado,
Douglas.
I am the new founder and president of the National Black Trans Men's Network, which basically means it's a great idea. It's an idea to bring together different black trans mass or and men's organizations into one coalition around the US. And when I say, and I've had a lot of questions so far because when I say black, I do mean black and brown. I don't know if, for me, there's not a distinction, but I know
Same.
for some people there are. So when I say black, black means black and brown. Um, in my mind and in my vision.
Everybody who is a product of the diaspora is considered black in our little world over here in the blackout universe. So
Right, right. And
welcome
in
to the
Black
family.
Trans Mass Men's Network, that is also the same. If you hadn't checked out our flag yet, or the meaning of our flag, feel free to go over to our website and check that out, or any of our social medias also. But the website, it will be up there when this gets replayed back, but it is nbtmn.org. Okay. So yeah, I guess the vision for me is really came from working with so many black trans groups from all over. You know, people are always like, T, you everywhere, you everywhere. It's because I like to work with people and I like to see what they're doing. So I've been able to be a part of or take part in a lot of different like fellowships, coalitions, focus groups, all over the U.S. It has gotten me to traveling over the last couple of years, and I just got to be able to see like some of the great work and meet some amazing people, some of the great guys that are doing this great work that other people may not have met, may not know about. Some of the programs may be smaller, but they still are dope programs and dope orgs. And like, I guess in my mind, like, what would happen if we all work together um, to build something for us?
So yeah, that's a great point. So, oh, this is like an interview. Okay, so we're gonna do this like an
Not
interview.
an interview.
We're gonna do this like an interview. It's the live 20 questions. So
Okay.
obviously, you and I work together a lot, and so we talk a lot about silos and why, you know, silos happen for a lot of reasons. It's not always for bad reasons. It's just if you are in your community doing your thing and creating something for the people that are around you because you see a need in your community, that's not a negative thing. However, it's hard to know what everybody else is doing and where there's like collaborative opportunities. So in your mind, like why does the lack of like connectivity between people who are doing work locally in community, nationally, statewide, whatever, the lack of connection points there, which hopefully this network will, improve more connection points. How does that hurt the work that everybody's doing in the community? Like not being able to have, a network, like a community of organizers that are, sort of set on the same type of goals.
Well, I think that question is a lot of what I thought about. Because I think, well, one, funding. Funding is a
Mm,
big thing for everybody. I mean, if you don't have the resources, you can't necessarily share everything that you have because you're not able to. Like some people don't have a website that they can share information out to a community that's bigger than where they live at. You know, some people, and I think that's one of the biggest reasons they, you know, I was fortunate enough and blessed enough to be able to like travel because of the work that I do. So I get to see all of these different places and spaces and meet these people that are doing the good work. But also, I think, you know, visibility is a big thing. And some places people are not visible because for a lot of reasons, like safety reasons is one. But a lot of times too, I think it's that just like a lot of us pass so well, right? So it's easy to just, and I won't say easy, but it's a blessing and a curse to be able to pass so well, right? Because at one point, yes, you may fit into society, you know what I mean? But you may also not be connected to community because of that. Um, so I mean, even though you may have the resources, you may not know how to share them without um coming out of being like stealth.
Right.
I think a lot of people also have like a scarcity mindset of I need to be the only one, or if I allow other people into my space, then that's somehow going to take away from what I'm doing or what I'm going to accomplish, or then I'm not the unicorn. Um,
We have a lot of conversations about the unicorn.
and I think that you know it's great to be the unicorn when you need to be, but I don't think that with so many young trans men in the making that necessarily helps our community. Um, I think that we need to be sharing ideas, sharing resources, sharing problem solving, um, and honestly, just be more in unity. Um, So yeah, I think there are a lot of reasons, a variety of a lot of reasons. We could probably sit here all day and talk about the reasons why people aren't shared and why there's such a lack of visibility and all the things. Um, but I'm hoping that this network will change that, and we will all be able to get on one accord to be able to, work through some of those like issues that we specifically have, especially health wise. Because there's so many times I've sat in so many rooms and spaces. Um, for example, and this sounds crazy to so many people, but for me to walk up to another trans man who has had top surgery, right? And just ask them, yo, you got nipples? To anybody else, that would sound crazy. But to another trans
Conversation.
man who has had top surgery, it is such a normal question. It is such a normal question. Um, but I realized how unnormal or like it is to people who don't live and walk the same life that we walk.
Or
Because
who just haven't found community. Because if you don't have people in your circle to have those kind of conversations with, like they're not walking up to me and having that conversation because why would you? But if you don't know or, interact with, have community with other trans masculine people, like you might not have gotten the opportunity to ask those kind of questions.
that also, but that's also what I mean by like resources, and like some people don't have the resources to go to like conferences or spaces that cost things where they can learn about this stuff. So hopefully we can change that too by creating some virtual learning spaces as well, where people can connect with other people, and not only that, just be able to build that connection with people who are already doing the work in these specific areas, you know, because I can't tell you nothing about a place that I don't live in and I haven't done the work in. But I
Okay.
bet you I can find you a knowledgeable black trans man or masculine individual who does live there, who does do the work, who is connected, who can show you, or help you find what you're looking for. Um, so really, that's really what I'm trying to do. Create, not take up space, but create more space for people who are already doing such meaningful work, that or people that I've met that, I've been blessed to be in programs with, or, fellowship with, um, and be able to promote their services and their organizations more.
Okay, so I know that I have been in a lot of spaces where people like start a thing, right? And you have touched on a bunch of different things, even just in this little short time that we've been talking, but like elevator pitch style. A lot of times when people tell you that they're starting a thing, like you walk away and you're like, but like, what is it? Like, what is it actually? Like, what does it actually do? Like, what actually is it? Like, that sounds good, but like, what is it really? So elevator pitch, like 3 minutes or less type of answer. Can you just tell the people in like what this network actually is, like what's it gonna be, and like what it's for? Like, can you just give people like a few lines to make sure they
Sure.
understand what it actually in like a practical everyday kind of way really is and is gonna be?
Sure, it is an organization that is going to unite other organizations and businesses that are led by and predominantly serve black trans men or black trans masculine folks. So we are trying to connect these organizations and businesses into one coalition so that we can together work on the issues that we have, our health issues, our visibility issues, all of the things, our equity issues. We can advocate together. Um, but it all has to like start somewhere. And also to not just that, but also to promote these organizations that are already doing the work in these areas that they're in. And I think, that will also help people in those areas to find those organizations and get those services from them.
Okay,
So,
so I think I caught, so like it's all these different organizations that already exist all over the country, people doing like local work, state work, national work, international work, whatever, and an opportunity for them to sign up, be a part of the network, so
mhm.
they're getting like marketed and promoted.
Yeah.
Because there's a
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk
d-
about the perks yet. Well,
oh,
that's
right.
a
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
So
Okay. Cool. So there's a website, right, that people on the network are on, so people can find you. So that's dope. You talked about internal, like education resources, like
advocacy
advocates, like internally. So like
internally
people that are part of the network can like
work together.
work together, like coalition build. So let's see, we got marketing, PR ish, internally, be able to collaborate and then get educated, get led to resources and supports and things. Advocacy. So like advocacy, when you talk advocacy, like do you mean like legislatively, like doing advocacy work, or like within organizations? Like what does that look like?
Well, I guess that kind of looks like our first initiative. Um,
Well, let's talk about the first initiative then. What is the first
um,
initiative?
so it's something that's pretty near and dear to me. Like I said, I sit in these rooms and I talk to people, I have conversations. Our first initiative is actually making September, the month of September, the whole month of September, Black Trans Men's Health Month. And what does that mean? If you watch the video, I'm sure you know what it means, but it really just means a month to make aware of Black trans men's health in this month. So basically, September is the month with the most health awareness days for different things, right?
Like what?
So for cancer screenings, it's patient safety day, which brings awareness to patients' health and safety. I believe it's heart health, STI testing or HIV awareness day in
And
there.
these are like, so these are awareness days that already exist within
Yeah,
that
yeah.
month.
There's those are
Okay, so
awareness
then,
days
so
that
then,
already exist.
so how does um Black Trans Men's Health Month in September tie to all those other observances? Like, why, what made it important to make it the same month as all those?
Because we need to be in the conversation for all of those health awareness days. Our health is tied to every single one of those awareness days. We're not any different than, well, we are different in a special way. Um, but we our health needs to be talked about. So many times we are left out of the conversation when it comes to health awareness. That we should be in conversations when they talk about heart health because a lot of us take testosterone. We should be in a conversation when it talks about like suicide awareness. There's so many stats on black men being like one of the highest rates of suicide lately. But what about black trans men? How high is the rates for that? Um, when they talk about HIV awareness, hello, why are they not involving us in those conversations as well? So I think for me, it was important to pick the month with the most health awareness days because they all tie back to us. And we should be a part of all of those conversations when it comes to health awareness because you cannot talk about black trans mass health without us, right? You can't create a great health plan for us without us. And the fact that we not in those rooms, and we not invited to those tables a lot of the time, or a lot of time when we are, we're just an afterthought. Or I think hopefully advocating for this as a health month will change that, and we'll be invited to those tables. And if we not invited, we will find a way in. When they don't give you a table, you bring a
Make
chair
a table. That's, or you make a table.
or you make a table. So hopefully this will be our table to everything.
I think I have found, at least, that even within community, people aren't always even aware the of the specific health issues that affects trans mask folks. Like even within community, I don't know that people always know. Can you talk a little bit about like why reproductive health, why heart disease awareness it is an important conversation even within trans mask and trans male communities? Like, can you talk a little about that? Because I don't know that even people within the community always know why those things matter and how important they are to pay
Yeah.
attention to.
I would say both of those roads actually lead back to testosterone.
Mm-hmm.
Because we take testosterone, we are at a higher risk for like clotting and heart irregularities, I'll say, because they can come in all kinds. So I will say that like if you haven't seen a cardiologist, I would tell you to go get checked out. I think that was like one of the biggest things that I worried about specifically, just because my grandmother passed away from heart issues, heart monitor. So I mean, I have a heart murmur, so that has always been something that was like in the back of my mind.
And in the
And
Black community, we have such a higher incidence of heart disease and hypertension anyway.
right,
Anything additional, like that's, a whole another set of
it's a whole nother
reasons
stress.
why.
why, particularly you should be worried about your heart health. So yeah, for me it was like a big concern, which is why I, changed a lot of things about myself when I decided to take this journey. Um, Also, with reproductive care, listen, I tell people all the time, you gotta take care of the parts that you have in order to get the parts that you want.
Mm,
I mean, that's like my biggest slogan. I work with kids, and that's the easiest way that I can say it to them. And sometimes, it's the easiest way to say it to adults, especially ones with dysphoria. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, the parts that you have, you still have to take care of those parts. And it is important, when it comes to things like cervical cancer and stuff like that, to make sure that you are getting like proper screenings, make sure that your insurance, um, because insurance can be tricky depending also on like what gender marker you have, whether you've changed it or not. Those are a lot of different conversations that, are not talked about that should be talked about. Um, so I think, yeah,
To the
like
point that medical facilities and doctors don't even know how to navigate those issues. Like they don't even know. And so because those conversations aren't being had.
I'm gonna tell you, I love my doctor. I've actually had her since pre-transition, I think. Um, and when I started with her, she was a very, very new doctor. Um, However, she is also from Thailand.
Mm,
So when we talked about like my transition name, she made me feel very comfortable. Just the way that she had expressed that it was something normal in her country that she had already seen before, you know. And she also expressed that, hey, I do not know everything, but like we gonna figure it out together, which is why she is still my doctor.
right.
Um, However, there's been other doctors in those places and spaces that I've been in. Even when it came to like looking for doctors for surgery, some of those places I will never feature myself ever again in. Some of them people, some of those spaces never even got past like an appointment call. Um, Hospitality is everything. The questions you ask me is everything. Um, I work in health advocacy, so I'm probably like one of the biggest critics when it comes to doctors, especially when it comes to doctors for myself, and doctors for people that I care about. Um, So yeah, there's doctors that I've been to doctor's office one good time, and baby, you ain't said what I
That
wanted
was
you to
enough.
hear. And I'm gonna tell you, you're not about to be my doctor when I walk out of here. Matter of fact,
Yeah.
I'm gonna find you somebody to refer me to before I leave. Uh,
This ain't working.
Listen, it's not working. If I walk into a place and you take one look at me with no labs, no tests, no nothing, and you tell me that you about to increase or decrease anything of mine, I'm about to ask you what's that's based on. And if you can't give me if you give me a superficial answer, tell me it's based on the way that I look, yeah, you don't need to be my doctor. Goodbye. You are the weakest link. You gotta go. I need my
Lord.
doctor, and I'm not saying they gonna know everything, but I am saying like you have to be teachable as well, and you have to want to learn on your own. Because I'm not about to pay you and teach you.
Right.
I can't do it.
So with I don't know. I think people are like used to like observances, like observance months or weeks or days or whatever, but they're already established. So like the things are already happening. So this since this is brand new out the gate, what can people do to like recognize it? Like it doesn't have to be a thing like, oh, I'm gonna attend a thing. Like there's gotta be things that people can do to like kick this off, to like bring this awareness month to their communities or to their organizations. Like what kind of things can people do to support the month and like get the word out and other things?
You can. hold a health screening during the month of September. That's what you can do.
Which is
And you know,
probably got to be really, really helpful. Like if you're a trans men's organization to like hold those kind, like if you're nervous about like getting any type of reproductive care or whatever at a traditional place, like being able to go to a trans organization that's like vouching for a place or like as a community, is a part of this health screening, like that's gotta take some of the fear factor out. I think like the anxiety maybe of doing it because you're like with community.
yeah, I mean, it does take some of the anxiety away from it. Knowing that when you walk into this space, people already know why you're there, right? Knowing that it's like an event specifically for, black trans masculine folks. Um, Not having to answer the question of why you're there,
Right.
especially when it comes to things like screenings for like cervical cancer or anything that has to do with gynecology in general, you
Even
know.
breast cancer, like people aren't aware that even if you've had top surgery, like all of your breast tissue may not have been removed. And so you still can get breast cancer because everybody can get breast cancer. Like gender has
Everybody.
nothing, like
Nothing to do
gender
with
has
breast
no
cancer.
correlation with breast cancer. Everybody has breast tissue. Everybody.
Everybody.
Um, because we all
Um,
in the womb, we all start as the same thing. So however stuff manifests, like everybody starts in the same place. So anybody can get anything. And so it's
that's my
incredibly important
that's my how
to
everything manifests.
that's the manifestation dance.
That's when things are moving around and
Yeah,
finding its
yeah. It
place.
depends on how it shakes out and how you end up when you hit air. Like that is a thing. But like anybody can get breast cancer. Cisgender men can get breast cancer. Trans men can get breast cancer. So even if you've had top surgery, I think like even if you've had a mastectomy as a cisgender woman, you can still get breast cancer potentially if all of those cells haven't been removed. So it's just awareness, personal autonomy and awareness of your body and the things that can happen is so incredibly important.
Yeah, so definitely, partnering with a Black Trans Mass org, and us as well to have some type of health screening at your place in your area. You can go to our website and buy our merch. Definitely, we have hats and t-shirts that say September is Black Trans Men's Health Month.
Then they
Um,
gotta post them. You gotta buy that merch and post yourself
yes,
in
you
it so the word
definitely
gets
have to post
spread.
them. Take a picture of yourself in the merch, send it to us or post it. Um, let's see, what else can you do? Hashtag it. You definitely have to
Mm,
hashtag it Black Trans Men's Health Month. Everything that has to do with health in the month of September. If you're a black trans man and you post something about health in the month of September, hashtag it that. Black
yeah.
Trans Men's Health Month. Also, during the month of September, we are going to be putting out some videos from Black trans mass and men in the community that are going to be
Adult.
talking about health. So they'll be correlating to specifically our health. So make sure when you see those videos, you share them with the community. You like those videos. You watch the videos so that you can learn something specifically about us. Trying to think what else.
So there's like a huge educational component to all the stuff that you're doing then. Like I feel like I'm seeing like a thread of like an educational piece to everything. Oh, it's a secret. It's a secret. My bad. My bad. I feel like that's important. I feel like, having promotion is one thing, but like being able to teach people, like that's
You
dope. Like that's
know,
important.
I like to like.
It's like spoonful of sugar. Like you can't tell that the medicine is coming because
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
my bad, my bad, my fault, my fault, my fault, my fault. I like the education part, so I'm always gonna
No,
call
no,
it out.
no. So yeah, there is a huge educational piece to it. In small doses. But I feel like, if I was to say, come to this webinar and just learn about black trans men, people are gonna be like, Maybe I'll come, maybe I won't, maybe I know everything, maybe I don't. Um, but I think, yeah, we intentionally with everything that we're trying to do, is also educational so that you can learn more about Black trans men in general. I think there is such a variety of us. We're all so different. I think the one common thing about us is that we're either Black trans men or masculine folks. Um, but other than that, our lives, our journeys, our stories look so different. And I think the world has always thought of us as like the same, right?
Mm,
We're just we you black and you trans and you're a man, so boom, this is the box that you fit in. And I think it's time for us to really show them that there is no box that we fit in. Like, we are more like a Rubik's cube, if anything, than a small little box to fit us in,
right.
just because we're all black, trans, and masculine identifying, or Black trans men, or Black men of trans experience, like however you want to word it. um I think so many times people put us all into like, this is what it looks like, this is what, and the truth is, I don't think people have any idea what it looks like, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't think they have any idea. And a lot of times I meet people and they have no idea that I'm trans. They just know that I'm a black man, right? And even with that, there's a certain amount of experiences that you get in the way that you look at the world when people can't tell, you know.
Mm,
Um, it's a certain way that people talk to you, it's a certain way that people interact with you. Um, and then there's a certain way that they do a lot of times once you disclose to them or they find out, you know. So I
that's
mean,
interesting.
it's very interesting. But I think like this gives us the ability to show the world like how different we really are, even though you might try to fit us all into one box. Like, I don't think it's a box that can fit us all in because we're so different. But I think that all of those differences are needed. And I think being able to show all of those differences to the world is also needed. Um, and I say this because I'm about to go on a little tangent in a minute
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
about the variety of black and brown trans men. So I
Mm,
say this to say, it's kind of like ballroom.
that's a hell of a segue. Okay.
I recently found out some new information um, in the Western New York area. And I'm gonna just, before I put it out there, what I will say is we're not all the same. So when y'all start coming up with like realness categories, especially when it relates to trans men, I believe that we should have just as many realness categories as the Butch Queens have, just as many realness categories as the trans women have. Because one, we're not all the same. We don't all fit into trans realness. And even though we do, there's a variety of what our realness entails. So to put us all into one singular category,
Yeah.
yeah, that really is not a way to diversify ballroom. It doesn't feel inclusive, and it always feels like an afterthought. So that's just my little rant.
That's your tangent. I respect it. I respect it. So just like you were saying at the beginning, like you've been to a bunch of conferences, you do a lot of traveling, you do a lot of you know, you're when you're LGBTQ for a living, you end up being in a lot of those spaces, and I have as well. So it's not hard to recognize that a lot of times in those spaces, the trans masculine community, specifically the Black trans masculine community, isn't well represented. Like on panels and in discussions, on flyers for conversations that are being had about anything, housing, health, legislation, justice work,
Overall
any of the
wellness.
things,
Yeah,
right? Incarceration, like the conversation, like there's just not a ton of representation. So does that mean that the network is going to step into those spaces also, like either you or like people who join the network, like can people reach out to the network to be like, we're having this thing and we want those voices included, like can you come, like show up or whatever? Like should we expect to start seeing the network showing up in those spaces to be able to provide some of that representation to maybe start to change that a little bit?
definitely. I think that's also the point. You can definitely reach out to us. Can reach out to us online. You can email us, but yes, we would love to be reached out to represent in some of those spaces. And I think also, my board members who are so dope. Go to the website to check them out as well. Um, you can reach out to us. Yes, we would love to be in some of those spaces. You will see us in some of those spaces. I think some of the organizations that are signing on to be a part of the network, you'll see hopefully more of them in those spaces as well. But yeah, that is the point, so that the people know where to reach out to. Because a lot of times I hear the excuse of, we didn't know where to reach out to. We didn't know who to reach out to. We didn't know an organization or a black trans man that would talk about this or that or in this area. Okay, well, reach out to me and reach out to the network, and we're going to find you one in your area that's going to come to the thing and talk about the things. Okay?
Yeah, I'm big on saying like if you couldn't find somebody, you didn't try hard enough. But like this kind of takes the guesswork out. Like you have no excuses if there's a whole community of folks that you can just send an email, make a phone call, and
Because,
so you're
right,
on
right.
notice. You're on notice now. You can't
You
say you
don't
couldn't
know
find
this. I'm just
anybody.
saying. Because if you want somebody to talk about being a black trans man who is a migrant, or what issues they're having now with this new legislation, I'm not about to be the one talking about that.
Right, right.
However, you better believe I'm gonna find you somebody that's gonna talk about that from a lived experience. You know, but that is the point. Like, I don't want to be the one talking about the stuff all the time. No, I want to help you find the right person to talk about the stuff when you need it. And maybe it's something that's local in your area and you just looking for a black trans man in that area that knows about whatever the issue that or whatever the event that you having.
Hmm.
Um, and you don't know, but you can always send out an email saying, hey, I'm having this. Just wondering if you know somebody in the area or somebody in the field or, and I may not know anybody in the area, but I may know somebody in the field. And but you also have to think about, are you willing to bring that person to your area? Because sometimes the best person for the job is not the person in that area to speak on
Facts.
whatever it is, unless it's something specifically in that area. You
And it
know,
may not be the person you know or the
it might
person you've
not be the
seen
person I
on
know, but maybe I can put out a
or
call.
just, but I mean not you so much but them, like
Right.
the person, if you bring the same three people to every event you have, maybe that's not always the best voice and there's other opportunities to give to other people that are in the field or are do have lived experience or whatever, like you know
Okay, I've been neglecting the comments for a little bit. Um, Let me see if I can. Tam, can you see them?
I could see him.
What the people talking about? I feel like I've been talking for a little bit.
I mean, it's mostly people just co-signing what you said, wanting to see more spaces of visibility for Black trans men, that people in the community bring that up often, making suggestions of like reaching out to community to find someone to speak. It's not that difficult. That's where community outreach and relationships come in. So, what I will say from my own personal experience, because I do a lot of this work too, is like my first thing is always, if you can't find somebody to speak on what you are looking for, especially when it comes to like a panel where there's no diversity, there's no one of color, there's no black folks on the panel, that means that your community is too small. Like your relationships need to be developed so that those are people in your network. Like that shouldn't be people you have to find. With that being said, people don't always know how to cross that bridge. And so, if that means you need to engage with somebody like the network in order to bring those people in, then do that opposed to just not doing it. Um, so, yes, totally agree that it should be, those are people that you should know already. If you work, especially if you work in the LGBTQ community, you should know a very diverse population of people because we are a very diverse population of people. With that being said, if you don't, it is your job to find the people, and if you can't find the people, reach out to people that can find the people, because it's not an excuse to just not do it. Like that's, you don't know them or you can't find them. It's not an excuse. And it's even less of an excuse now for this population of people because now there's a network.
Yeah.
So there.
Yeah.
What was I just about to ask you? I was about to ask you one more question and I can't think what it was because I started yapping.
Well, while you thinking, let me just keep yapping then.
Feel
So,
free.
so we are still accepting organizations to join the network. You can go to our website and fill out a network application for your organization or business to join the network. We are always accepting donations, so that we can spread the love to more small LGBTQ organizations that are in the network. Um, we're looking for volunteers. If you want to get involved, you can also head over to our website, or I believe also our social media, and scan that little QR code and fill out a volunteer application. You know, who knows? You may be the only one in your area that wants to volunteer for the network, but we would be happy to have you, because we can't be everywhere. But I know that we are everywhere. You know. Also, we are still looking for a couple more board members, particularly in the South and in the West Coast. To join our board, because like I said, those are areas that I'm not particularly familiar with, but we definitely want representation in all areas of the nation. um, yeah, so I just really, this is not an organization to like gatekeep anything. It's actually just meant to maximize the Black trans leadership that's already around the nation.
So I remembered. So it always sounds good. It sounds good to build things like coalitions and have people working together and whatever. But like we all know that it doesn't always work that way. People don't always approach it with a spirit of collaboration. And so it's hard. Like collabs are hard, especially like broad collaborations can be tough. So why do you think this will be different? Like why will this work in ways that maybe other things haven't before? Like what do you think makes this work, is gonna make this work? How are you approaching it differently than like what you've seen before? Maybe like what, how, why this?
Um, I think it'll work because I am really approaching it in a spirit of collaboration and unity, right?
Okay.
Um, I don't think that I know everything, but I think we have enough knowledge in the community between like the Black trans men, mass and men's organizations across the nation, and also with the help of our accomplices.
Mm.
I think we can build a coalition that can be sustaining, um, but we have to get past like I guess like one, the gatekeeping, and two, the egos, and three,
Mm-hmm.
the scarcity mindset. I think if we can get past those three things, like it can be something amazing that can work for us all. Um,
That's dope.
yeah, yeah, that's really like my thoughts. I just think I've seen so much great work that could be maximized in collaboration. You know, I've seen so many great programs that if they combine with another org or another program, that it would be like, again, just maximizing the things that are already in effect, you know?
Yeah. That's so. So obviously, if you're used to watching the podcast, it's a little bit different. Like usually, we're just chit chatting back and forth and talking about issues and things. So this one, we kind of sat down interview style. So, T could talk about his new baby, um, as it grows. It just launched this week, like we said. So this is brand new. And honestly, I respect the mission so much and the work that is going to come out of the network that I really wanted the opportunity to be able to, get it out to more people. And the Blackout audience is so dope and full of such different people and from different communities all over the place. So we wanted to make sure that y'all knew what was happening so y'all could get involved and support. And as a person who is outside of the trans mass community, obviously, just to remind people, like, you can still support, you can still donate, you can still buy merch. There is merch on the website for all different kinds of people, for allies and accomplices as well. So like, to volunteer. Like I definitely am going to be volunteering to help and make sure that the network is successful because I know how important it is. So, we just kind of wanted to take a minute to sit down and chit chat about what it was and what it's going to be and how you can get involved and remind people that although this is a organization that uplifts the trans mass community, like there's spaces we all can, get into support and empower and uplift our
Yes,
siblings.
you don't have to be a black trans man or a black trans masculine person to support the network. We definitely need more, and I would say allies, but honestly, I feel like for us, we need more accomplices, not allies. And
Unless you're gonna
so,
write a check, in which case send it over.
and if
Whichever
you
you can
write
call
checks,
yourself whatever you want if you
we
share a
can
big
send
check.
you both. But what my thing is, the difference for me is something like an ally will buy a t-shirt or a hat that says I love trans men, because we do have those for the people out there, the girls and the and the guys and the whoever love trans men. Like we have those. We got those hats, we got those sweatshirts for y'all. We also have the hats and the t-shirts promoting September as Black Trans Men's Health Month. So I feel like every trans man and masculine person should have one of those to promote
Everybody
those
in the
issues.
health field, like if you are a
Everybody in the
nurse, a
health
doctor,
field,
own a clinic or something, like definitely be rocking those shirts so that people know what's
definitely.
what's up.
And I feel like, but that's my thing. I feel like an ally will buy the shirt, right? To
Mm-hmm.
support. But I feel like an accomplice will wear it.
Mm,
I feel like an accomplice will take a picture in it and send it to the network or post it on their page. So I think that for me, that's the difference. I do want to look. I love to see a bunch of people buying it, but not as much as I would love to see a bunch of people wearing it. In these spaces, fo- safe spaces. I don't want anybody to be in a space where it might be harmful to them. But I feel like if
mm,
you work at a clinic that calls themselves a safe space for Black trans masculine folks or Black trans men, you should have a T-shirt. If you're a doctor,
thanks.
you should have a T-shirt. Um, you know, Especially in these spaces that are calling themselves safe spaces, or spaces like that. You should definitely have one of these shirts. Should definitely be wearing those shirts and promoting this September as a health month for Black trans men. Um, I also say to the women out there and the men too, y'all be quick to hit us in our DMs, right? Quick. However, how quick are you to buy a hat or a t-shirt that says I love black trans men and wear it? I think, that also shows a difference between the people who actually love us and then the people who fetishize us. Um, so with that being said, I know I better see some people who with one of those t-shirts or a hat that says that. I'm gonna just say that.
Don't make T start having to tip out
I'm gonna
that
start
them
sending.
DMs.
I'm gonna be right in the DM sending the link. Do 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 do. That's what it's gonna sound like.
Got it. Got it. Got it.
Um,
Got it.
yeah, but no, I'm serious. It doesn't, donate, 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 donate. I don't care if it's $10. You know, that last drink that you was gonna buy at the bar, donate to the Black Trans Men's
Which is
Network.
also a great way to support Health Month,
It
a
is. It
donation,
is.
because that can go to support, an initiative in your city or a city near you. It could go to support, a smaller organization that's trying to find its way up, whatever. So
I will
absolutely.
say, you know, because I really want this month for us really, really badly, right? I did put in uh, a request from our governor to make it a month in New York State. So, Kathy Hochul, if you're out there,
And also,
we
how
want.
dope is that? Like, if you're a city in New York, and you have stuff going on, like, make sure you are applying for your own city to recognize it, or like pushing for
Yeah,
organizations in your own
yeah.
city. Because if the whole state is recognizing it, like, you certainly in your towns and cities can too. Like, that's a really big deal. That's super dope. Super
I
dope.
definitely this shows how bad I want this for us, y'all. I've already applied for one in New York State, and I look to apply for them in every state. So if you in a state and it might take a little bit more work, but I'm willing to put in that work with you. The network is willing to put in that work with you. So if you need help with trying to get it recognized in your city or state, reach out to the network because I will help. The network will help and we will work in collaboration. You see what I mean? In unity to make it happen. Everything that I want to do is in collaboration and in unity. So reach out, join the network, visit our websites, donate, 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 share the merch, wear the merch. One dope thing, Black Trans Alliance. I have to shout them.
Oh, who is
Um,
that? What did they do?
they are an organization in London
Oh
who
wow.
reached out to us already because they really loved our flag and they wanted to share it in London. So we appreciate them so much for reaching out and sharing our flag on their website, and on the
International
social
First
media.
Week. That is
So
dope.
that is very dope. But this is what I
So,
mean.
this the flag behind you, right? That's the flag.
Oh yes, the flag behind. So this is the actual network's flag. But yes, without the words is our black trans mass flag.
Which didn't
Um,
exist before.
it
Like,
didn't
y'all,
exist before.
y'all debuted
Um,
that.
yeah, it did not exist before. We had nothing specifically for us, which is something that I really thought we needed. So yeah,
When y'all gonna start putting those on sale?
they
I know
already
people
on
want to start.
sale. They already on sale.
Okay,
I mean, you gotta
okay.
go. This is why you gotta go check out our webpage, nbtmn.org. You can find out more about us. You can find out more about me if you don't already know. You can find out about our board members. You can see the first few networks, orgs that have joined the network,
Oh,
and
people
find
already
out about.
started. The network's already growing.
The network is already first weekend, we already growing, right?
All
So you can
right, all
check out the
right.
organizations that have already signed on to join the network. Check out some of the services that they have. Go onto their web pages and check out the things that they're already doing. This is what I
That's
mean.
dope. That's
Um,
dope.
we got a store on there, so you can check out the store. You can buy merch to help support us so we can continue to grow as a network. Donate, donate, donate. Don't skip the donation page for sure. What else? What else? What else? Oh, so yeah, while we were talking about the flag, I heard, I was checking out some comments online, and there was a lot of people saying that the flag was AI. And I'm glad we did such a great job that y'all really thought it was AI, but it was really came from our minds of like the things that I thought
Speaking of
represented.
which, can you go through a little bit of the symbolism so people understand that it wasn't just AI generated, like what the different things mean on the flag so people
Yeah.
can
So
move
of
through
course, you
that?
see the black, I mean, you see the blue, the pink, and the white, like the traditional flag, of course, because that represents our transness, kind of like the traditional flag. But also, you see these triangles, black and brown, they go all the way to the middle of the flag. So that represents like the intersections of being black and brown, and also being a trans person. It also represents all the black and brown folks in the, say the word for me, Tim, because I get tongue twisted. This th-
Oh, diaspora? I'm like, what
the,
were we saying? The
yes,
diaspora.
the
Some people say
diaspora.
diaspora, but I pronounce it
Listen,
diaspora. So,
the
if you pronounce
diaspora.
it the other way, feel free.
Yeah, so that's what the black and brown triangles represents, all the communities.
So it's
Black,
bigger than just the typical, like in the intersectional. I'm trying to figure out what's behind me. The intersectional flag obviously has a triangle, but they're smaller. Like they're
yeah, they're
not
tiny.
as.
No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
no.
Okay, okay, cool, cool.
Because for me, there is no transness without my blackness, right? So, like, I feel like they are all just as big a part of my life. And my trans community is one part of my life, my black community is another part, and sometimes I get the joy of being in black trans community, which is like, you know a very special place for me, and I don't get those spaces that often. Um, but I really wanted to represent all parts. And then, of course, the flexed arm. You see it's brown and black, little brown highlights in there, but I think it really represents the strength and the resilience of black trans men and masculine folks. Um, but yeah, so, and then it also like just shows our different shades of melanin. I love all the shades of melanin, so it was really hard to like just pick. you
Well, and
know
it looks like there's like some light in there.
there
There's some
is
more
there is
melanated shades. There's whatever. So like everybody is represented in there. So that's good.
and also, so people have also pointed out that there is an extra finger, right? And I did see that, and I also loved it. I'm gonna be honest, for me it held a different symbolism, which I'm sure most people won't get. But it actually holds two things. So one of them is personal, and then one of them is community. Because honestly, you never know what hidden disability someone might have. I'm gonna start there, which is one of the reasons why I thought it was important to keep it. And then the other reason, which I'm very holistic, and I believe in, like, if y'all know me, my stones, my gems, my manifestations, all of that. I don't you can't see the picture behind the flag, but behind this flag, see that guy right there? Can you see him? Okay, so behind that flag, that is a picture that was painted by my mentor, right? And it looks so much like me, right? Tripped me out a little bit when I first seen it. But also, she painted it before I was born. Um, so the only difference between me seeing that painting and what I looked like, at the time, because at the time I had just also cut off my locks, and I had one tail. And in the picture, the guy has one tail. Is also, I'm not a shaman or anything, but I am very holistic. Um, and the other reason is
I can hear you. I think we lost your sound, T. I don't think it's me. Mm-mm. All right. Well, when T is tinkering with sound, we are actually pretty close to the end of our time anyway. So hopefully he pops back in before we are done. I don't know, for some reason you went on mute in the middle of your explanation. But if he can't reconnect, this has been T with TNT. Um, a little bit different than what we usually do, but I think super duper important. And it's been an amazing opportunity to learn more about the network and what it does and what it's going to do and how you can be a part of it. So, like he said a bunch of times, in posts and edits, I will make sure that the website is on here so you can look it up, so you can learn more. You can connect with T. He's everywhere. Um, and yeah, that's the network. And this has been T with TNT. Guess we lost him completely. Thank you for joining us. You could have been anywhere, but you were here with us. That's T's line, but I'm gonna take it today. Super dope. Make sure you look into the network. If you are on our live, you can see the link in the chat. And if not, you're watching this in post, you're watching it on YouTube or listening to it on Apple Podcasts or on Substack, you will find the link there as well. So, y'all have a great Sunday. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the community and the conversation. And we will see you next month. Mwah. And next month is Black Trans Men's Health Month. Y'all take care.